All right, multiplying binomials and trinomials. A lot of software like Alex and some textbooks keep these separate. I'm gonna try to see if I can fit it all in one video. It doesn't. It feels like you can apply the same rules to both binomials and trinomials. But before I say any more, what is a binomial and what is a trinomial? Binomials just means that you have two terms in something, or things that are attached by a plus or a minus. So like, whoops, helps if I grab the pen. So 3x squared plus 5y. There's two terms, 1, 2, there's a plus sign in the middle. That's a binomial. 7y to the third minus 8. Two terms, there's a minus sign in between them. That's a binomial. So binomials are two terms attached by pluses and minuses in between them, that's all. So what do you think a trinomial is? A trinomial is the same sort of thing. 3a squared minus 6b plus 14. Three terms, we got pluses and minus in between them. Bingo. So that's a trinomial. 3x squared plus 7x minus 21. Again, three terms, 1, 2, 3, pluses and minus. So the names can be a little unnerving. What are these nomials? But they're just a way to classify how many terms each type of thing has. And yes, there is a monomial, so like 18n, one term. So they would call that a monomial. So in case you were wondering that. All right, let's see if I can zing this up. We'll talk about multiplying them. I have a pretty good strategy that I use for multiplying them that I really like. I didn't invent it, and I call it boxing to multiply them, but let's see what one would look like. Let's say that we have an x plus 2. There's a binomial. I just threw it in a parentheses, and I'm throwing another binomial in another set of parentheses. Why? Because what is the operation when you have two parentheses next to each other? That's right, it's multiplication. So that's what it looks like when you're multiplying binomials. We have one binomial in one parentheses, one binomial in the other. There's a FOIL method that I'm not going to go over now. I don't know if I'll cover it in another video, but you can definitely like Google it and you'll see so many examples of FOIL. It's pretty easy. That's probably the biggest way that they like to teach multiplying binomials. I don't stress foiling because I like the boxing method. The boxing method can be applied to binomials, trinomials, 5-part polynomials, whatever, whereas foiling is only good for binomials. So to me, I'd rather teach you a tool that you can use on a lot of different things than just foiling, which can only be used for binomials. Anyways, boxing. That doesn't mean you get out your boxing gloves. What it means, you draw a box. We have two parentheses and two things in each parentheses, so we're going to draw a 2x2 box, like a window. And our goal is we're going to get all these little window panes to be filled in with certain things. The first parentheses is x plus 2, so we're going to put an x here, and we're going to put a positive 2 there, because that's what's in the first parentheses. On our rows outside the window, we're going to put the second parentheses stuff. So we have an x here, and notice our 5 is negative, so we need to call that a negative 5. And the other reason why I like boxing, besides the fact that you can use it for all different polynomials, is you really don't have to think a whole lot now. It's telling you exactly what needs to multiply together. So in this box here, we need to put what is x times x. What you get when you multiply x times x? You get x squared. In this box here, we're going to be multiplying the 2 times the x, and that's just 2x. In this box down here, we're going to be multiplying the x by the negative 5, negative 5x. And finally in this box here, what is 2 times negative 5? Negative 10. We're almost done. We've done the hardest part, honestly. Setting it up, probably. What do we do now? We have 4 things in the window panes. We're going to take them all out, and we're going to put plus signs between them. X squared plus 2x plus negative 5x plus negative 10. Hopefully by now, if you've gotten this far in math, you're just like dying to combine some like terms, and that's exactly what our last step is. We have a positive 2x here, and a negative 5x there. And what happens when we add them together? Well, we have our x squared. What's 2x plus negative 5x? It's going to be negative 3x. And you can either write that last one as negative 10 or plus a negative 10. It's exactly the same thing. So there we have multiplied our first binomial. Cool. Let's try another one. All right. Let's do parentheses, x minus 6, parentheses, x minus 3. Some people they do these enough and they can do them in their head. And I wouldn't, that's not the worst thing in the world to be able to do with binomials. But some people like to just slow it right down. Draw your box. Get everything where it's supposed to be. Take your time. And the other thing is it's a good way to remember that when we move on to the trinomials in a few minutes, having a box makes it a lot better. Alright, we're going to be really crazy this time, and we're going to put the first parentheses down the side instead of along the top. Does it matter? Not at all. And this time we'll put the second parentheses along the top. Most things that matter is if you have a negative or a minus sign in front of a number, keep it with it. Alright, x times x, x squared. This box, negative 3 times x. Well, that's negative 3x. This box, negative 6 times x, negative 6x. And our last box, negative 6 times negative 3 gives us positive 18. What do? Take them all out, put plus signs between them. Whoop, make sure you can see your negative sign. What do we do last? We look for like terms. Alright, the x squared has nobody to play with. We just rewrite him. Negative 3 plus negative 6 gives us a negative 9x. And there we go. Want to try one more? Alright, what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you write down the problem, hit pause, and try it on your own, and then hit play. And after that one we'll do a trinomial, or maybe we'll go really freak and we'll do binomial times trinomial. Ooh. Alright, I'll kick this one up just a little bit. I'm going to put some numbers with the x's like that. 3x plus 7 times x. Actually, I said I was going to put a number there, so that's what I'm going to do. We'll do negative 2x minus 5. Alright. Write that down, hit the pause button, and again, you just want a 2x2 box. Take your time. Not going to do anything different than what you just did on the last two examples. So hit that pause button and give it a whirl. And put 3x here, 7 here, negative 2x here, and negative 5. And again, it's just a matter of taking your time. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. X times x will give me that x squared on that box. This box here, I have a negative 5 times a positive 3x, so that's a negative 15x. This box here, negative 2x times positive 7, negative 14x, and then 7 times negative 5. What do we do now? We take them all out with plus signs. Negative 6x squared plus negative 15x plus negative 14x plus negative 35. Feels long with all those extra numbers in there, but don't let it get to you. It's just the same method, nothing different. So the negative 6x squared stays as it was. Negative 15 plus negative 14 gives us 29. And then there you go. How's that? Alright, I hope that worked out okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to kick it up a notch. I'll be honest with you, it might look a little big notchy-ish, but it's not, because we're going to learn how to do just a bigger box, and the boxes totally guide us as to how we want to do it. If you use Alex, if you're following the Alex software, I think they also have a topic. They call it something like multiplication involving binomials and trinomials. It's not that big of a deal, and you're going to use the box method. Alright, so let's do 2y, ooh, I'm using a y this time, 2y minus 3 times, here comes a trinomial, buckle your seatbelt, we'll do y squared minus 3y plus 10. Alright, so we have a parentheses with 2 things and a parentheses with 3 things. So we're going to just extend our box out a little bit more, that's all. We'll do 3 columns and 2 rows. Got that down? Now it kind of matters which parentheses you put where, because you got to match the 3er up with the 3er and the 2er up with the 2er. So the 2y and the negative 3 have to come here. And then we have y squared, negative 3y, and 10. And again, the box is totally telling you what to multiply together. So here, 2y times y squared, 2y cubed. This box, 2y times negative 3y. That's negative 6y squared. See how it slows you down, makes you think about the exponents? This box, 2y times 10, 20y. This box, negative 3 times y squared. Ooh, I like that one. That one's pretty easy. Negative 3 times negative 3y will give us a positive 9y. And our last box, negative 3 times 10. Same technique we did before. Take everything out, put some plus signs between them. We have a few more terms to write out, but no big deal. And again, if you do this enough, you might start to feel a little more comfortable, like as you're taking them out, combining like terms, and that's fine. I will just warn you that to the tendencies when people start to move faster, they tend to make more mistakes. So I'm sure that's common sense. So let's just look at this big long thing. We have no more y cubes, so we're just going to carry this 2y cubed down. Y squareds I'm going to put in a box. Is there any other? Oh, here we go. Alright, so our y squareds, we have negative 6y squared plus negative 3y squared, which is going to give us a negative 9y squared. I'm going to put our plain old y's in circles. We have 20y plus 9, so that's going to be plus 29y. And then the only thing we haven't touched, who also does not have a playmate, is that negative 30. There you go. Big, yep, intimidating, maybe, I don't know. Let's try another one. And again, if you feel like this isn't super different than what we just did, I'll encourage you to hit pause on this sucker and try it on your own. And then come back and see if we got the same answer. Alright, so parentheses, 6u plus 9v minus 3. Oh, I know I got 2 letters in there now, huh? That's okay. We'll make this guy a binomial. Let's do 3 minus 2u. No difference, just the same technique we got. We got a 3 by 2 box. Again, if you feel like hitting pause, working it right out, coming back, you're not going to do anything different than what we've already been doing. So give that a whirl. Once you have your box set up, again, it's just a matter of thinking, making sure you're multiplying the right things together. It's kind of hard to mess up unless you're like me and you make messy u's and v's and you get all confuzzled. Alright, negative 2u times 6u. U squared on that guy. And then negative 18. Uh-oh, my box is kind of small. We have a uv in that box. And a negative 6u. Alright, I hope if you're trying this by yourself, it's feeling okay. 18u plus 27v plus negative 9 plus negative 12u squared plus, I don't know if we'll be able to have any terms to combine, plus negative 6u. Wow! Alright, we got an 18u and a negative 6u. That's going to give us 12u. I don't think there's any other like terms. Wow. So go through and make sure you have the right answer. And it's ugly, but if you can do this, this is like a good notch in your cap or feather in your cap, whatever they call it, because this is good housekeeping. And this is one ugly looking thing, and if you can get to that and clarify it all up, if you have, wherever I have plus and negative number, if you have minuses, that's a-okay. But good for you if you got it done. If you're still a little confused, come find me and we can practice one or two together, or ask, the parts that confuse you, just point them out to me. Otherwise, nice job. And again, this is a couple topics in ALEKS and in textbooks. It's just multiplying trinomials. If you had 2 trinomials, you'd make a 3 by 3 box. And again, this is better than foiling because foiling only works for 2 by 2s. So, alright, enough on that. Good job.